Assalamu alaikum and welcome to another episode of the Chocolate Shack. Inshallah, I'd like to touch on a subject that I heard launched at not only black men for a little lack of support for VP Harris, but also for criticisms that were launched against Lord Jamar, the famous rapper from one of the positive groups that came out back in the 1980s and the 1990s called Grand Nubian. Lord Jamar was called out because he made some statements against VP Harris being able to lead a nation because she is a woman. And people are using his statements as this broad blanket to say that this is basically how black men are feeling. And of course, that's scapegoating, because I think most people believe in actuality that black men have no problem with female leadership. I think most black people understand that. Even President Obama himself, who made that faux pas a couple of days ago by wagging his finger at black men, giving misogyny as one of the reasons why we have a problem with VP Harris. Lord Jamar now is being pointed at as a person who's a proof positive for the fact that some of us feel this way. Some of us are, in fact, misogynist or chauvinistic. So I wanted to talk about that tonight for a minute to correct, first of all, the context by which he said what he said, and perhaps even give proper definition to misogyny and chauvinism. So let's start with that. What is misogyny? Misogyny is actually hatred of women. When a person is a misogynist, that's a person who's showing you through their actions and their words that they actually hate women. Now, I don't think anybody can launch that against the vast majority of black American men, number one. So we're going to get that out of the way. Chauvinist, what is that? What is chauvinism? Chauvinism is defined as excessive support for one's own group or gender. So the whole thing about being a male chauvinist, again, this is language that was brought about by 1960 and 1970 feminists. Some people might call that second wave, maybe even third wave feminism. And they used this as an attack on men who probably at that time were chauvinistic. I'm not sure. The reason why I wanted to do this quick video is because we have to be clear on definitions. We have to define things as they should be defined and contextualize them as they should be contextualized. And we know that there's a denotative, meaning the strict definition of words, and there's also a connotative meaning that, you have some latitude when you're speaking colloquially about particular terms. So we understand that. But to say that Lord Jamar, along with other black men, are chauvinistic, or that we're misogynistic, because some men may not, some black men, some men in general, but we'll talk about black men because this is where the criticisms have been launched in the last couple of days, are chauvinistic or misogynistic. We have to fight back and push back on that. We're going to push back on that. I don't believe for one moment that Lord Jamar is misogynistic, meaning that he hates women, nor do I believe that he's chauvinistic, that he has some type of excessive love for males. I don't think that's the case at all. And that's denotatively what we'll be saying about this, all right? What we have to understand is how language has been used in the feminist context in the Western world, and how that language has been used against men, especially men who are fair-minded, men who have shown that they in fact are not misogynistic or chauvinistic, that they love their mothers, they love their sisters, they love their aunties, they love their wives, they love their ladies, right? And that they don't have any particular, excessive support for men. And for men on what? On what level? What Lord Jamar said, I myself believe in and I support to a great degree. Now, do I believe that, let's be clear about what he said. He was saying that it is not suitable for women to lead nations. You don't want a woman put in a particular situation where she would have to send men off to war, or she would have to make decisions about people, maybe by the hundreds or the thousands, maybe even the millions, losing their lives to war. That you don't want a woman in front of men doing combat. And you don't want the leader of a nation, especially like the United States of America, with all of this military power and all of this military might, you don't want to put that on the shoulders of a woman. That is what Lord Jamar was trying to say. And he was trying to say that if that does happen, if a woman like Margaret Thatcher, who was the leader of Great Britain, or I forgot the Pakistani woman's name, who was the leader of Pakistan, and they do have nuclear capability, or the sister in Ghana, who was president in Ghana for about 8 years, about 10 years ago. They don't have nuclear capability, but they certainly have a standing army, and she had to use it. They went into a civil war in that country. What Lord Jamar was saying was, he doesn't think that it is the place or it is suitable for women to be put in those situations to make those types of decisions. And if they are put in the head of a nation or the head of a military, that in the background, they're still being led by men, because it is the man who do this type of combat. And at the end of the day, it is men who are more suitable, who've had the history, who've had the, in the historical context, it is men who best are suited and who can best fight these types of wars. That's what he's saying. In other words, in short, that everybody has a role. He's taking a traditional position that women have a role in society and men have a role in society. That's what the brother's trying to say. That's what the brother basically said. Now, to take that position and then say that he's in some way saying that he hates women, or to take that position and say that somehow he has excessive love or support for men, is to misconstrue what that brother was trying to lay down. Now, myself, I believe that a woman can run these nations, but as Lord Jamar suggested, understanding that there will be men that will be around her, helping her to make those decisions. And that when it's time to actually do combat, that these men will take the leadership position. It'll be these generals. It'll be the, the admirals on the ships. It would be, the persons who have the ability to be able to go out and lead other men and also fight in these wars. That's what the man was saying. And I personally believe in that. Although I do believe that a woman can lead these nations with male support. So I personally have already voted. I early voted here in Georgia, and I voted for Jill Stein, Dr. Jill Stein, and Dr. Rudolph Ware. That's who I voted for. I'm voting green. And I'm voting green as I've done in the last few elections. I've voted for President Obama twice, but outside of that, I've been voting green. I didn't vote for the Clintons, neither one, the wife or the husband. And the last time I voted was in 1984. In the primaries, I voted for Jesse Jackson. And then after that, I forgot who the candidate was. It's escaping me at the moment. But I voted for that person in 1984 who was a Democrat. Since 1984, I have not voted Democrat until President Obama. I was voting green, if I voted at all. Now I'm voting green again. After President Obama, there was nothing else left. President Obama, he got me on a hope and change. He got me. I was hoping and I was, changing to see if this brother would be what I thought he was. And of course, as I said in the previous video, it was a disappointment. He did what all managers of empires do, right? He acquiesced, he bowed down, he bent a knee to the oligarchs. He supported Wall Street over Main Street, although he said he wouldn't do that. And he disappointed us. So he turned out to be just a black face in a high place. That's all. But he himself is a Negropean, right? He's nothing. He is exactly like our white masters who lead these other nations or who led before him. No different. He was the same thing. So a great disappointment. Do I believe a woman can lead? Of course. I voted for Dr. Jill Stein. So I voted for a woman who's at the top of the Green Party ticket. But I just wanted to make sure that we put in context what it was that Brother Lord Jamar was saying. And I also wanted to say that if a man, white man, black man, doesn't matter, if he is a man and he stands up and say that he does not want to be led by a woman, he would not like to see a woman who is president and leader over the most powerful country in the world, and probably now in history, with the ability that we have militarily to destroy the world. I think the last time I checked, we have enough in our nuclear arsenal to destroy the world 12 times over. 12 times we have that capability to destroy the world. 12 times over. No country could do that in the past. Even our ancient African histories that we romanticize over. Nobody has ever had that type of power that we have today. And to put a woman in that position is not one of the wisest things to do. And I agree, it's not the wisest thing to do. Is it possible? Yes. Is it plausible? Yes. Is it natural? No, it's not. It's not natural to put our women in those positions. So that's what Lord Jamar was saying. I want to say a word to that. And for any other men who take that position, it doesn't mean they're chauvinistic, and it doesn't mean that they're misogynistic. That should be categorically rejected by everybody. And we should be fair about what it is that men like Lord Jamar are saying. They're saying that they believe in roles, that men have particular roles and women have particular roles. And just because these people are hoisting up women and putting women in all types of leadership positions over men doesn't mean it's right. And when they do it and you reject it or we reject it, doesn't mean that we're wrong. So we have to push back on some of this, these feminist positions, and we have to be strong in our positions and not back down. So I'm very glad I heard Lord Jamar this morning defending himself. And I thought he did a very good job defending himself. I absolutely agree with most everything he said as regards what he meant by what he said. Okay, so he takes the position that he would not like to see a woman leading a country that's powerful. And I applaud the brother for being honest and being able to say it, despite the fact that he knew he was going to be called a misogynist and a chauvinist. Okay, so this is what I want to share with my community today, and clear the air about some of the things that I said in the previous video, right, about VP Harris. And also on that wise, my criticisms of VP Harris is in no way saying that I support former President Donald Trump. I think I've made it very clear that I do not support former President Donald Trump. And it's crazy that I have to say that. Anybody who knows me knows that I would never support these people. I'm talking about the whole Republican Party. I'm talking from top of the ticket all the way down. Right? I know what these people are about. And there's nothing that they have that's in common with me at all. Even this quote unquote conservatism that they're supposed to have. And me being a traditional Muslim, a person who's a God-fearing person, sometimes folks pair us up and say that we're basically conservative. And I say that. I myself say that I'm basically a conservative person. But when we say that, conservative like what? Not politically. No, we're not. Or these people and what they deem or they term conservatism is not what we're talking about. We're talking about conservative, or for lack of a better expression, you could even say moderate. That really we're moderates, right? Black American people are basically moderate people because of our moral position on things. It's not necessarily that we're conservative, right? But if we're going to say conservative in the traditional way, understanding that, then of course, most religious people will be considered to be traditional or conservative, right? And in that wise, then I would fall under the conservative umbrella as regards some of my social positions. Politically, of course, those who know me know that I lean left. I would be a leftist, as I said in former videos. People will look at me and call me a socialist, although I don't wear that banner. I don't call myself a socialist or communist or any of that, right? I understand the concept in Islam that's called iqtisad, as I said in the previous video, that I believe that you take what it is that God gives you and that you maximize those gifts given to you by God, right? These are not gifts. These are not things that we've built with our own hands. We have to remember what we're dealing with when we're dealing with creator and creation. We don't create anything. There's one creator, and the creator, Allah, God, whatever you call God, he is the creator. And everything that we have is gifted to us by the creator as creation. That's what we are, creation. We can't do anything. We can't create anything. Everything that we build, we're building off of what has already been created out of creation by the creator. We're just borrowing from the creation, and we're putting things together to get plastics, to get oil, to get minerals, etc., right? We put these things together that God gifted humanity, that he gifted the planet Earth, and we use those things to the best of our ability. So my belief is that you take these gifts that God gave, the creator gave, and that you do the best you can for all of creation, the human being, the animal, plant life, etc. Again, as I said in previous videos. That's what I believe in. And whatever label that is, iqtisad for Muslims, whatever it is other people want to call it in a secular materialist world, if you want to say that's socialism, then fine, communism or whatever label makes you feel good about what it is that I'm saying, then that's what I am. But what I am not is a Trump supporter. What I am not is a Harris supporter or a Biden supporter. That I'm definitely not. I would never lend my hand as a moral man into a genocide. I would never lend my hand as a moral man into being a sycophant supporter, puppet of paymasters and rich people up top, the oligarchs. I would never be, I will always be these people's enemies. I would never allow myself to be pulled into a duopoly and let somebody tell me that I have to vote for the lesser of two evils. And if I don't vote for this, and then you're going to get some, total destruction of the planet Earth, right? If you don't vote for VP Harris, because that's how dangerous Trump is. And I think all that's game. VP Harris is more dangerous for black people because she wears our face. And she'll do all the things that these people want her to do, these oligarchs, these paymasters. She'll do all of their bidding, just as Joe Biden, and she'll do all of the bidding of the rich, just as Trump, right? Both of these parties are just two wings of the same bird. That's all they are. And I won't play that game. As a moral man, as a man who believes in a creator who is just and who is equitable, who means to see his creation evolve into more perfect peoples, I can never lend my hand to allowing myself to be pulled into believing that I should support a greater or a lesser evil. Okay? So that came back to me that some people are looking at my videos and feeling like I'm spanking VP Harris and kind of, allowing Trump to skate. No, that it's not that. It's just that I would figure that anybody who knows me knows that Trump in my world is complete and utter disaster, right? And also VP Harris and Biden in my world are complete and utter disaster. So let's make that plain. Let's make that clear. And as far as I'm concerned, the moral peoples will not support either one of these parties. They will go green. You would support the Green Party. And I heard that the person at the top of the ticket for the Libertarians, I heard that he's also against the genocide. Although the Libertarians, they're for small to no government, as I understand it. And that's a very dangerous position for Black Americans to take. In fact, it's a very dangerous position, I think, for working class people to take. It's very dangerous to pull back on your government in modern times. I think that, no, you don't pull back from the government. No, you become a part of the government. And you understand, as the Constitution of these United States say, that we, the people, are the government, right? We stand in as representatives for our democracy, right? That's our job. That's what we do. And that's what I believe is best for the human family at the moment, and for those of us who live in the Western world, in particular, the United States of America. I think this is the best position. So that's what I want to say tonight. And that's for those persons who feel like I'm hard on VP Harris. That has come back to me. I think she's garbage, pure, unadulterated garbage. And she is an evil, lesser or greater. She is an evil. And I don't see her as a lesser, or the Democratic Party as lesser evils. I see them as two wings of the same bird. They're doing the exact same thing. All of them are bowing down to the paymasters at top. And that's never going to be good for the working class. All right? So that's what I have to say. If you like the episode, please like it for me. And if you have not already, please subscribe to my channel. I pray all is well. I love y'all. Take care. Peace.